Whether we're talking about threaded rods or U-bolts, Dayton's commitment to you means a commitment to quality, and it all starts right here. The first quality checks happen when a load of steel stock arrives at the plant. It's a two-step process. First, there's a visual inspection to make sure that there's no rust or burrs or slivers on the steel itself. And the second part is a micrometer check to make sure that the diameter of the steel rods are within spec and that the rods are round. No flat surfaces here. Once a shipment has been accepted, it's stored here, sorted by diameter and by heat number until it's ready to start into the manufacturing process. Both for threaded rods and for U-bolts, the first step in the process is to shear the stock to the right length. That happens here. Now, for larger production runs or for smaller steel stock, the automatic shear is used. For larger steel stocks or smaller production runs, a manual shear process does the job. What we'll do here first is check the length of the part to make sure that it's exactly right, to within 1/10,000th of an inch. Once we know that, we'll make sure that the date stamp is in exactly the right place. Every 100 parts, the process stops and we check for quality. We check visually to make sure we're still in round and that the date stamp is in place and readable. And then we check to make sure that the parts are the exact length the specification requires. The next step in the process is threading the rod. And here at Dayton, we can thread rods anywhere from 3/8 of an inch up to 1 1/4 in diameter. We'll set the machine each time a new part gets ready to run for the specifications required for that specific part. At the beginning of each step in the process, one part will be brought to the quality assurance station to make sure that all measurements are within tolerance. At the inspection station, one of our quality assurance professionals will take each part, check the order, and then verify things like thread length, thread diameter, and then check the threads themselves using the go and no-go gauges. Oh, here's another thing we do at Dayton Parts. We know that quality assurance is a team effort, so we make sure that each and every member of the team is recognized and informed throughout the day. Now, this monitor is reproduced out on the plant floor, so everybody out there can see who's on the job today and what they're working on, as well as the current status of each and every order presently in process. Each and every threaded rod is midline before it leaves our plant. That way, when distributors do their bending in the field, they can maintain perfect quality on those U-bolts every time. One of the most important steps in the quality assurance process happens right here. And while it's very important, there's not a whole lot to see. We're testing the tensile strength of the threaded rod because we want to make sure that finished product is as strong as you need it to be. Once the rods have been tested for strength, they're ready to be turned into U-bolts. The dies and gauges are set and the bending process begins. Now, quality control comes in two phases here. Every 100 parts, we check for the radius to make sure it's within tolerance. But each and every U-bolt, as it's bent, is checked to make sure it has the proper leg width. To give a part like this, a finish like this, requires a special process. And that's what happens here. Each of the parts during this phase will be coated with zinc phosphate and a light coating of oil, which not only makes them look great, but it also prevents rust. Now, the U-bolts we can hang directly on these hooks, but for smaller parts, we'll use baskets to take them through the process. One of the last steps for the threaded rods before they leave the plant is to be wrapped for shipment and storage. We use VCI wrapping to cut down on moisture, so those rods will be in perfect shape when you're ready to bend them. Well, that's the whole process. From the steel stock coming in by the truckload to finished product ready to go out the door. And whether that product is threaded rods or U-bolts, at every step along the way, cutting, threading, bending, coating, packaging, shipping, everything is checked and double checked because at Dayton, it's all about quality.